Do you know that you can grow baby succulents from these Aeonium leaves? Yes, you can, and here's the proof. Some succulent plants are so easy to grow from leaves. They would fall off the ground and soon would grow babies with less effort. That is pretty common in succulents with chunky leaves like the sedums and graptosedums. They have enough stored moisture inside their leaves to sustain the life of a new plant. And of course, the presence of the meristem is a huge factor first of all. Many people are saying that you cannot grow succulents from Aeonium leaves. But that is not true. Aeonium leaves can also produce babies, but it's not as easy as the other chunky succulent species. As you can see here, these adorable babies grew from leaves of graptosedums even without soil. And also these ones here with leaves that fell off the mother plant and are also growing babies. But this scenario is not the same with the Aeoniums. Generally, growing babies from Aeonium leaves is very challenging. There are a few things you need to make right in order to succeed. Before we dive in on how to grow succulents from Aeonium leaves, let's first get to know this genre a little bit more. Aeonium is a succulent plant native to the Canary Island where they thrive in dry and mild climates. They go dormant during summer, and when it happens, they close their rosette-forming leaves to protect their core and prevent the moisture from further escaping. When they are dormant, you'll barely notice any activity in the plants. They will not grow sprouts when you trim them. They will not grow bigger or grow sprouts. They would stop growing to conserve their energy to survive. Of course, when they are dormant, it's not the right time to propagate them. The best time to propagate Aeonium is to wait for it to come out of dormancy and come back to life again, or in short, when they are actively growing. The easiest way to propagate the Aeonium is to get a cutting and plant. This way, you'll encourage the mother plant to produce more sprouts at the same time. But if you want to grow a multitude of Aeoniums, try growing them from seeds or look for those tiny babies growing on the spent flowers. Aeoniums are monocarpic, which means they die after blooming. But it takes several years before they bloom, and when they do, they produce massive and attractive blooms which last longer. After that, the plant consumes its resources and dies. For your propagation to be effective, do it when the weather is milder. So again, when it is hot, like in the summer, they become dormant. But when the weather starts to cool down, like in the fall, they start waking up. Therefore, you can start working on your propagation. There are different varieties of Aeoniums, from green to multicolored. And if you want to learn more about dormancy in Aeoniums or about the flowering Aeoniums, I have a couple of videos discussing that in detail. But since our topic is about growing Aeoniums from leaves, let's focus on that today. This video is brought to you by Chopstick and Succulents Gardening Tweezers and Scissors. These tools are now available in the Philippines, the United States, and in Japan as well. If you are interested to avail the promo price, check out the link in the description below. Now, if this is your first time growing succulents from leaves, I suggest you start from those that are easy to propagate. Those succulents with chunky leaves like the graptovirias and graptosedums. But You can always try different species as well and find out which ones grow well in your location. Now, to grow Aeoniums from leaves, there are a few things you need to keep in mind. Number one, make sure that the plant is in their active growing season, because you'll be wasting your time if you pluck their leaves in summer when all they're trying to do is conserve their energy. Next, you need to select matured and chunky leaves. Try not to pluck the young ones in the middle, but rather take out the matured ones from the outside. The plumper the leaves, the better, because they need the presence of those moisture inside their leaves to push those new babies out. Then collect intact specimen. When you collect the leaves, make sure the tip is not broken, because you want to keep the meristem intact. Next, allow the tip to dry for 2 to 3 days. By doing so, you seal the moisture inside and prevent excess moisture from getting absorbed, even avoiding bacteria to enter. Then place on top of the soil. You can lay them flat on top of the moist soil once the tip is calloused. The roots will soon find their way to the soil. Then you have to keep the soil moist. Once the roots or tiny babies come out, nurture them by keeping the soil moist but not soaking wet. And keep in a warm, dry location away from direct sunlight. So, choosing the right specimen, the proper time to do your propagation, and caring for them appropriately can help you achieve success. Growing Aeonium from leaves can be a bit slower than starting them from cuttings, but it is also so much fun and rewarding. So, the next time the weather becomes cooler and you have some Aeoniums, try plucking their plump, mature leaves and applying all the tips shared from this video and see what happens.